Hey, what's going on guys? My name is CJ, welcome back to Exotic Nootropics. This video is another grower of the month, and for this month we have a Theobroma Cacao. Now this is a chocolate tree in layman's terms. I just couldn't ignore it anymore. The growth on this has been absolutely insane. The past month has seen it shoot up, like so many different shoots out of it. It's just insane. So this is growing at a vast rate of knots, and it's only a baby plant. When we got it, it was up to here, which you can, if I zoom in, see a dead stem. So basically this died off, and then this shot out, and then another one shot out from just down here as well. So we've had some massive shoots come off this, which is crazy, and it's just getting bigger and bigger. I mean, the leaves are getting larger. These obviously are brand new leaves, which is why the colour's so different. And yeah, I'm quite excited to see how quickly this continues to grow, because obviously this month has been insane. Whether or not it stays this way for the next couple of months, I don't know. We will find out together. You can see from our monthly updates just how quickly this has grown. So I'm just going to give you some background on cocoa trees. So cocoa is also known as the food of the gods, and it's been consumed since 1900 BC. It's crazy. It's basically one of the oldest foods on the planet. So there are various different types of cocoa trees, and the way that you can tell is mostly by the shape and the color of the cocoa pods that grow on the tree. Different varieties come from different locations, but the main locations for cocoa trees is Central and South America, which I don't think anyone will be surprised by. One thing that's really interesting about cocoa, and specifically the cocoa pods, is that on the trees, they don't actually grow on branches or anything like that. They grow on this main stem coming up. So there'll be clumps of cocoa pods growing on the main stems. So it's basically part of the main trunk of the tree, which is pretty insane. One of the ways that you can tell if the cocoa pods are actually ready is by shaking them, and if there's a bit of a rattly sound, then the beans inside should be ready to be harvested. So the beans inside the cocoa pod actually have a lot of white flesh around them, which can be eaten. There's also juice in there, which can be drunk as well. It's edible. The only thing that's not edible really is the husks on the actual cocoa beans, which normally you remove after you've fermented them and done all of that process. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't 100% know the type of cocoa pod that's going to be growing on this tree. I don't know the type of tree. I just know it's a cocoa tree. It's a Theobroma Cacao. Whether that is a general name for cocoa trees, I don't know, or whether that's a specific species, I'm really not 100% sure. Obviously, because these are fruiting trees, they need a lot of fertilization, which is what gives you this insane growth that's currently going on. It's got some awesome little red colors as well on the brand new growth, which is interesting. So there's red where the leaf came out, there's red where the actual stem came out, and then you can see there's more shoots actually coming through there, which is really, really cool. So this is growing really, really well. One thing that people do struggle with because of the nutrient requirements of it is browning leaves and dying off leaves. This is normally because it's not getting enough, well, as I said, nutrients, and so it starts to drop all of its leaves. Right now we've only had one leaf drop, and then these have just kind of survived up till now. As it grows and we get newer leaves, I'm completely expecting these lower leaves just to drop off like any plant. I'm not going to be too worried about it. The main thing that I would get worried about is if the top leaves that we can see here, that are currently a bit of a different color, if they don't start to color up to a natural color, that's when I would start getting concerned and potentially look up why that may be happening. The main thing is obviously making sure that these get enough light as well. They're a full sun loving plant when they're mature, but when they're a baby they want like partial sun. I mean, it makes sense, right? Because they'd be in the shadows of other trees when they're younger, and then as they grow up they get more and more sun and obviously battle for their own space within their ecosystem. In general, when it comes to temperature requirements and humidity requirements of trees, it can be a little bit all over the place. So temperatures that we aim for are between 18 and 32 degrees C. So you don't really want to go above 32 degrees C. That's going to cause a whole lot of issues. and our humidity aim is between like 50 and 90% humidity. So as before, I'm just going to show you basic care that we do for this. This is just a room thermometer that tracks the, well, it's a hygrometer thermometer, so it tracks the humidity and it tracks the temperature as well. So over the past week, our lowest temperature has been 18.2 degrees. Hopefully you can see that right there. It's a little bit harder to do. And then our humidity, the lowest that we've had, is 52% humidity, and 66 is our highest. So we're not hitting anywhere near that 90, but we're keeping it up there between 50 and 60, basically 50 and 70. It's more accurately 50 and 70. When it comes to watering, we do allow this to dry out quite a bit. So the topsoil, we make sure it's about 90% dry before we start looking at watering again. And I'd say every third or fourth water we're adding fertilizer to it. It's a weak fertilizer like we've shown in the Nepenthes video, but it is a fertilizer which is helping it to grow as quickly as possible. Another thing that people may not have actually known is that cocoa is actually able to be used for multiple different products. It doesn't have to be chocolate. A great example is cocoa nibs. So that is basically the raw cocoa bean. Whether or not they actually bake that before creating the nibs, I'm not 100% sure. And then there's also, you could literally just take the husk off the bean and bake the bean, and then you can eat it that way, which is normally how I do it. But you can make multiple things. There's like teas and things that you can make. You can, as I said, make juices from the flesh that's found around the beans. And I'm pretty sure you can also use cocoa as an actual fertilizer along with the husks and everything else. So you can really recycle and use it for multiple different purposes. I believe that is all the information that I have on this Theobroma Cacao. You can go onto our website to see a care guide for more specific information. For example, soil pH, the right amount of NPK formula, so you're getting the most out of your fertilizer. But as I said, we take a more general approach with our fertilizer right now. Obviously, goes without saying, to keep up to date with this plant and any other plants that we have, stay tuned and watch our monthly updates. Thank you very much for watching. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.